Welcome, everyone. This is SatiSeva. I want to remind you that in the Buddhist practice, it's traditional to begin a practice anytime we take time to reflect. We begin with setting an intention or really examining what is the motivation for our practice today. And then we end the practice with a dedication. And the dedication is usually something that integrates the practice. And it also reminds everybody that any benefit that we have generated here for ourselves, we have the capacity to bring out and extend into the world. So the slightest little change within can have an enormous external impact outward. And so we take a moment to acknowledge that. Today, I'd like to choose a sentiment of loving kindness. And let's see what we've got here. We'll go to the bottom. Perfect. Here's a little painting I made. This one reads, "May you have thoughts that encourage." May you have thoughts that encourage. If it's comfortable for you, close your eyes. Really take this time to arrive to this beautiful practice, to this beautiful you. And if that sentiment stirs something within you, a little bit of resistance, like, ooh, that's uncomfortable to hear. I don't feel beautiful. I feel uncomfortable. The journey of recovery and really recovering that true self, that Buddha nature, the bodhicitta within us, that soft, soft heart that knows its own wounds. Coming into the presence of all of that with a softness, with a gentility, for many of us is a totally foreign notion. So many of us are conditioned to whip ourselves into shape, regiment ourselves into line, getting with the program, and so on. All of these harsh, violent, really, ideas of making us and molding us into something, someone other than who we are. The Buddhist practice is all about recognizing that you are who you are, and all of the things that you've done that you regret, all the mistakes, the missteps, the unskillful conduct, the unethical conduct, even. All of that lives beside everything that makes you extraordinary. The effort to come here to a meeting, the action of showing up into a place where if you're new, you don't know anybody yet, and then you have the openness to be here. That's amazing. The understanding that your own life has reached a place that you don't want anymore, don't like anymore, and you're willing and able to do something different, extraordinary. The intention to do something different, do something better for yourself, whether you achieve it in the way that your mind has created an expectation, is not relevant. The intention matters deeply because without it, we give up. So, to have an intention to do something different, to be something different, is to allow some space to change in ways that you never anticipated. To learn to speak to yourself in a way that is creative, and kind. I mentioned your actions and your efforts. These things will change your life. I get a lot of attention and a lot of praise for leading the way in some respects. And I'm very, very grateful for it. And I'm profoundly inspired. And I thank you all for your presence here, for your own encouragement. And I'm here to remind you that I'm not making the steps for you. I'm not taking the actions for you. You are changing your own life. And we're all doing it together, and we're incorporating mindfulness, which is nothing more than present time awareness. How do you feel? How's your body today? What are your thoughts? What are some of the stories you've been telling yourself? These are the foundations of mindfulness that we tap into on a regular basis. And none of that would amount to much if we didn't prioritize just a few moments of quiet concentration. Concentration that enables us to focus on ourselves. I know I grew up in an environment where the spiritual practice was incessant in its chorus of making sure that I behaved in a way that was never, ever, 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 ever selfish. To be selfish was a terrible sin. And yet, the thing that I missed, I never really understood in my own spiritual practice was the paradox that in order to be selfless, I had to be selfish. I had to understand myself. I had to be self full, FULL. I had to know myself, understand my intentions and motivations, fearlessly look at the behavior that I didn't like that got in my way and caused harm to myself and others, develop new patterns of behavior so that I could really bring forth a presence of kindness and joy and wonder. To be selfless is to create the conditions for others to explore qualities of kindness, compassion, joy, and inclusivity. We can't do it until we practice a really intense self focus. I just described for you the Noble Eightfold Path, the way to wake up to the magnificence of you, the shadows and the light, the good and the bad, the right and the wrong, the ugly and the beautiful. Both make the whole of who you are and who I am. And that's what we're celebrating today on a wish. I don't know about you, but I grew up believing the fiction created by Walt Disney and a sort of locked away princess Cinderella that you don't make your wishes out loud, otherwise they won't come true. Complete fiction, complete nonsense. And I'll tell you why. Whenever we step into the position of making a wish, we invite people we love, maybe even complete strangers, to participate in the manifestation of that wish. Sometimes their participation is highly indirect, it's energetic. Sometimes it's quite direct. People are resourceful. They have connections and contacts in ways that we didn't know. And they would never know had we not made our wish known. So, wish making is community oriented. We are witnessed by others. We allow space to receive the goodwill of others, which is by itself a practice. And we also practice what is it that I really, really want for myself? If it's something very general and broad, like, for example, I really want people to be kind to one another, that's a beautiful, beautiful wish. And I would encourage you to take it another layer or two down. When people are kind to one another, when you witness that, how does that make you feel? Well, it makes me feel more safe. Well, by feeling more safe, how does that change me? And maybe by wishing for others to be more kind, I'm also including myself. May I be more kind to myself and others. When I'm kind to myself, I create more safety for myself so that I can navigate the waters that are often so unkind and confused. That's what I want you to be thinking about when you make this wish. You can also make wishes for silly things, material things, whatever you want. The universe has no limits, which means you have no limits either. You're limited only by your imagination. So let's take a moment together, friends, and gather birthday wishes for ourselves. Bring your attention to your face and see if you can feel a little smile. Take a deep breath in and maybe add a little mantra, I wish. And then on the exhale, consider, just be open. Maybe something will surprise you that's coming forward. And if you're not sure, that's okay. Breathing in, I wish. Breathing out, for. Breathing in, I wish. Breathing out, for. I'll just enjoy a couple of moments of quiet to allow these wishes to emerge. Some of them may be quite shy. All righty, friends. Then we're going to end our practice with a dedication of merit. So we heard from one of our community members about the practice of giving up hope and giving up wishes. And this is actually a really fascinating Buddhist concept. And it's such a wonderful paradox to bring forward in an entire practice devoted to making wishes, to bringing voice to a desire, a longing, something we want to see, something we want to manifest. So there it is in sort of concrete form. And then we've got on the other side this encouragement to let it all go, to release hope, to release wishes. What does that mean? Well, what it means, as I understand it from the Buddhist perspective, is to relinquish responsibility to something, someone other than oneself. So, what this means is that whatever we're wishing for, there is a mutuality. So, I have to take responsibility for what I have to take responsibility. And at the same time, be able to receive that energy, those people, those aspects of life outside of me. You see, what happens, our greatest inhibitor to making wishes realized and manifested is ourselves. And the reason why I can say that with absolute confidence is because even when we go to receive the very thing that we long for, the very thing that we seek, we keep the door closed. We don't know how to receive. Suddenly thoughts of, well, I'm not worthy. They don't really mean it. It's not going to last. I can't believe that they would do that. Why would they do that? I don't deserve that. So, one of the things to bring forward in making wishes is to just acknowledge that within each of us lives an archetype called the saboteur, and to really honor that archetype, honor what it does, honor why it does what it does, and then invite it to step aside so that we can really practice receiving the gifts of others, the gifts of life. These are things that live beyond concepts of deserving and worth. We receive them because we're there to receive them. And what we receive, we are obligated to share. So I want to thank you all for sharing this extraordinary practice of wishing. And may you all find the strength and clarity, the tenacity and belief to participate in creating the conditions for their fruition. May you all be blessed. Blessed be your being, friends, for being here, for being a continual presence in my life. You are a faithful source of inspiration for my own heart and mind. You are a patient presence tolerating my song, my joy, even irrepressible as it is. You have all shown me mercy and love. You've shown me the spirit of sorrow and confusion. You've trusted me with the deep heart of hurt and bewilderment and confusion. All of these blessings abound. I receive them and I share them in kind. Thank you for your love here today, filling this space in present time awareness. May you go into the rest of this day blessed beyond measure. This is my birthday. This is our birth day. May what's birthing in you shine without apology, bright, to not only guide you, but to lead the way for those who love you. Until we meet again, friends, namaste.